Welcome, cartel members, to a Saturday kickback. Thanks for joining me. My name is Julio. I am the Theorizing Theorist, and today we're going to go over this Gematria Effect News 22 video that a cartel member graciously sent to us in the comments section of one of my last videos. Now, I'm not a big freak or a big fanatic into the Gematria stuff. I'm a big freak and fanatic only into God. To God be the glory, right? I only believe in God. So all this other stuff, all this, I don't care either way, good or bad. I don't believe in symbolism. I don't believe in the power in it, right? So I talk about it freely and willy-nilly. I don't care about it, right, in that sense. So where I'm going with this is if some of y'all get offended by, Gematria, or like, I know a lot of people hate like tarot or however you say, tarot card readings, or and I've never done that, never, nor would I. It seems like a waste of money and time, but I do believe in the power of God, and that with that, a lot of these things are possible, So with that said, a lot of very, very interesting information that this guy pulls up, not just using numbers. He also seems to be very knowledgeable in satanic like symbolism and rituals and stuff like that. Now, even though I don't believe in the power in it, I do believe, or I think that, there's people out there that do believe in it full-heartedly, right? And they worship it like anybody else would worship their religion. For instance, I was explaining to my daughter how abortions are actually used as sacrifice. So here's what they do is, the baby is not considered viable if it's meant to be sacrificed. So with that said, the abortion process can last up to years. They can sacrifice a 5-year-old and claim religious beliefs, satanic, baby was never, the human was never a viable human or baby. It was just more or less whatever. Plus all the babies being born without birth certificates, look up the farms that they have. So, but this is not about any of that. So this is obviously about what this guy says, and he, like I said, he drops lots of knowledge. I didn't see the whole thing. I only watched like the first 3 minutes, and I knew right away it was something very important. And I kind of scrolled through it, and then every time I would stop, I would see very important stuff. So I decided to go ahead and share this with you guys. It's a long video. It's about an hour long, but I promise you, it's worth it. This guy is good. Please go to his comment section and let him know an All American Cartel LLC sent you, and please tell him not to strike my channel. But again, this is very important stuff that I see that he's doing. So very, very informative, to say the least. And he caught a lot of stuff that I didn't even catch. So very big ups to him. So go subscribe to Gematria Effects News if you're not subscribed to him yet. I subscribed, even though I don't believe in all that stuff. I kind of like, I've met some other people that do this Gematria stuff, and it kind of leaves me like, yeah, if you multiply this and you add this, and then if you flip the number reverse, that's how they talk. And it's like, it gets to be too much sometimes. But this guy, from what I've seen so far, I've probably seen like 3-4 minutes of it, doesn't do so much. He does some of that, but then he kind of goes back to like the symbolism parts of it with photos and their Instagram, stuff like that, like the upside down cross he'll talk about in couple of minutes. So that's in the photo of Gabby. The picture frame, or the window frame, happens to be like one of those four, the squared 4 ones, where there's 4 different squares on it and they make a cross kind of. Yeah, very, very awesome stuff that he caught. So please be sure to subscribe to him and me if you're not subscribed yet. Like, share, follow, donate to him however he takes his donations or tips or whatever he calls them. Support him however you can. Also, if you want and you can, please support me and my channel. We have PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo down in the link below, or down in the description box down below. There are links. So please feel free to check that out if you're interested, and let's go ahead and dive into this video. Now, if I haven't seen the whole thing yet, so if I see something very interesting, I'm gonna watch it right now as I'm uploading it, or as I'm making this video. And if I see something interesting, I'm gonna go ahead and record myself talking and explaining like, wow, that's pretty cool, giving you my reactions, I guess. So don't be alarmed if you see that I pause it real quick and pop in to say hello. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this video. And if I don't see you again, or you don't hear from me again, let's just go ahead and end it with the "To God be the glory."
All right, Truth Seeker. If you're new here, that is the police murder by numbers. And that's an advertisement I gotta mute. But, again, a song about killing being as simple as ABC 123. It's so strange that song released in 1983. And in light of the code of ABC 123, murder is 83. Murder by numbers, it's as simple to learn as your ABC 123. And then not only that, Hollywood made a movie called Murder by Numbers. And they even changed letters to numbers in the movie poster, as you can see on the screen. And, you know, they changed the letters to 8 and 3, only other ones they changed. And again, murder has that Gematria 83. A lot of murder stories in the mainstream that get a lot of attention. The Watts family killing out of Colorado. Colorado equals 83. Watts equals 83. We just saw Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones die 83 days after his birthday just recently. And with regards to this code of letters and numbers, I want to show you some things that really stand out about this story. Just to answer the title of the video, I mostly titled it to hopefully get some clicks. Again, that is the point, to get the knowledge out there. I don't think Gabby Petito was necessarily murdered by the police. If she really was murdered, it was by the police. But what I'm going to say is I don't even know that, you know, this could be an invented character for a news story to capture everyone's attention as they push through another big phase of the ongoing pandemic agenda, the targeting of the baby boomers. But Gabby Petito, I'm going to show you who's definitely behind this ritual. If it's entirely made-up distraction, if she was really murdered, it doesn't matter. We know exactly who the culprits are, and they do work by this code every day of letters and numbers. It's called Gematria. It comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. It's as old as language. And, again, it's alive and well within English. English has a lot of parallels with Hebrew, which is a language of letters and numbers. And with that said, let me show you some things that you can verify yourself and are truly undeniable in terms of what's going on with this ritual, which is exactly what it is. So, the video released of her being pulled over, her and the boyfriend, they were supposedly having a fight, you know, getting a little physical, caused the car to swerve. The officer thought he was pulling over a drunk driver. Again, this is the narrative if you watch the video. And then you'll notice the officer almost forgets to ask for their IDs. I mean, what police officer forgets to ask for IDs? It's like the first thing they always do. ID. This police officer, he couldn't even remember. Oh yeah, you know, minutes into the conversation. Oh yeah, do you have an ID? It's like, okay, that's the first thing that seems a little bit off about this. But anyway, the video of this whole ordeal begins at 1644 military time. Not 1643, not 1645. It starts at 1644. And in civilian time, that's 4:44 in the afternoon. All fours, right? 4:44. And if you're new here, 4, and this isn't coming from me, this is just, you know, these are facts of life that are much older than me. 4 is a number associated with death. You know, this is a story that ends up in the death of a young woman, you know, who just happened to have no bra on that day and her nipples poking through. She's talking to the officer. There's just so many things about this that scream psyop. I mean, girls do go around without their bra on. It's not uncommon, but I'm just, you know, kind of cute blonde girl, you know, nice slim young girl, nipples poking out, officer talking to her, being kind of flirty with her, forgets to get the IDs, you know, just, yeah, again, and just all the attention on this. Just watch how we just break this all down. But 444. 4 is associated with death. It comes from the Far East. In Japanese and in Mandarin Chinese, if you pronounce the word 4 for the number, you pronounce it the same way as death. So the number is associated with death. Manly P. Hall, the Mason who shared about so many of these secret occult teachings, including Gematria, where I learned it from, he has the book about, you know, numerology, 1 through 11, and he talks about 4, and he talks about why that number is connected to death. So 4 to the occult represents death. The video of her getting pulled over begins at 4:44, right? Civilian time. And with regards to 4:44, in the practice of Gematria or Gematria, Killing equals 444. So is occult. So is Masonic. We're going to get to how this is clearly a ritual of the Society of Jesus. There can be zero doubt about it, especially since Fox News is putting it in your face today, with this shot. And again, we'll bring it all together here. But 444. And the way killing and occult and Masonic equal 444 is if you just take the alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, but you just multiply the alphabetic order times 6. So you're just counting by 6. A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24, E is 30. Z, the 26th letter, would be 26 times 6, so Z is 156. But killing, occult, Masonic, they're all 444, right? This video begins with, right now the fiancé is being looked into for the murder. He was very smiley on camera. But again, this is the Society of Jesus that's behind this, absolutely. Jesus, Cross, Messiah, Parables, Gospel. 444. And she was found in Wyoming, the 44th state. She's found in her dead body found in Wyoming, 44th state in order of statehood. Just the alphabetic order, kill is 44. With the alphabetic order and rules numerology, officers 44, executions 44. Again, 4, 44, and 444 are all the very similar in numerology. 44 and 444 are just rep digits of 4. Her supposed birthday is March 19th. Her body's found on the 19th of September, 6 months later. Rambo's always talking about Pisces and Virgo. Here's a Pisces-Virgo ritual. 6 months on the nose from the birthday. But March 19th, that date can be written 19/3 like 193, the 44th prime. And if you're new here, we talk about these numbers used ritualistically in the news so many times. One of my favorite examples to date, and there's a million, is you remember when the military defense leader was Mad Dog Mattis? Mad Dog has got the 44. If you're new here, these are the 4 base ciphers. The alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules numerology. His surname Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, Mattis 44. Head of the military 44. Officer 44, trooper 44, infantry 44, soldier 44. The list goes on. 44 is a number associated with death and killing. It's a number coded into military. And what is the purpose of militaries at the end of the day? To use lethal force if in the interest of the nation or the entity that the military serves. So, again, there can be no mistake about the meaning of 4 and 44 to the occult. Well, what's the thing that takes the majority of life in the U.S.? Cancer 44, chemo. If not the cancer, the chemo will kill you. Cancer, chemo, kill. It's all 44. There's like a movie called A Haunting in Connecticut. Young boy has cancer. They put him in the chemo machine at the beginning. On the side of the machine, there's a huge 44. It's just like, God. When you learn this knowledge, you never look at the mainstream the same way again. You see how you're kind of being mocked or, something's being put in front of your face every day that you're not expected to see or not expected to know or understand. But this is what's done every day with news media productions. And, you just pay attention, you see the ritual behind all of this. It's no accident they start at 444. Somebody out there is like, what about Jay-Z? What about Jay-Z and his 444 album? Here, I'll explain it to you real quick. Rapper, 444 in that same cipher, right? Rapper, 444. Killing, 444. Masonic. Jay-Z is a Mason. I think he's Prince Hall. There's the picture of him in his little gloves and his little bow tie, his little Masonic lodge. And if you look at the picture of him, everybody else is like looking forward, but Jay-Z realizes he's on camera. His eyes are not where everybody else is. He's looking at the person taking the picture like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. I'm grateful that person took that picture, though. Just shows who's all in the gang. Jay-Z, The Blueprint, released on September 11, 2001. Rockefeller Records, the Rockefellers behind the World Trade Centers. Rockefeller in the most simple cipher, 110, right? Just like how tall the World Trade Centers were that came down that day. The Blueprint, Jay-Z, Rockefeller. Again, you guys, you learn the code, you start to understand it all. But March 19th is her birthday, 19/3, like 193. And I forgot to finish the example here. Secretary of Defense, you know what Mad Dog Mattis was, Mr. 44, that's 193. 193 is the 44th prime number. Gabby's birthday is 19/3. You see? 193, the 44th prime. When Trump and Mad Dog Mattis had their falling out, it was a big 193 ritual. And again, this stuff's nothing new. This goes on all the time. Gabrielle is her birth name in the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Gabrielle is 44. Her boyfriend's name, her fiance's name is Brian, 44, right? It's a lot of 44, isn't it? And the video starts at 444. Again, this is why you should go and go, is any of this even real? Is this just all contrived ritual? Officer who can't remember to get IDs. You know, cute blonde who's nipping, perfect for a national news story. You know. All kinds of suspicious. Okay, so... Oh, and this was also on his hand. People are saying this could be 666. You know, kind of sixes twisted around in a pattern. It's possible. It's possible it is. It's possible it is. We'll just skip that part. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. But what we won't give the benefit of the doubt is this. The video's from August 12th, right? August 12th. And from that day to September 11th, 911, that's the day she was reported disappeared, September 11th of all days. It was 30 days from this video of the police pulling them over to the disappearance on 9/11. And so in Gematria, police equals 30 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. It equals 33 in the most pure cipher. We're always talking about police rituals in 33. That's the number they use the most. The day her body was found, September 19th, 2021, that was a date with 33 numerology. She's found on a 33 date, disappears 30 days after the video, and then the fiance's place is raided. Today, September 20th, the day leaving 102 days left in the year when police is also 102. And it's also the 102nd NFL season. And tonight, Monday Night Football, the day of this raid, just so happens the Packers and Lions are playing each other, and the Packers are on 102 wins versus the Lions. Again, you learn the code, you see how the numerical rituals are brought together day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and just by the same repetitive cycles. And again, knowing this knowledge is very lucrative, you know. Big Al's dancing around this weekend again, another $25 parlay that paid $2,500. He has a lot of those to his name in all the years he's been a part of this community. And not only does he make money off this knowledge, he comes out and pounds payment with us, flies out to the city, you know, gets out there in the wet and cold and tries to raise awareness about these agendas and who's behind them. And again, there's a lot more people in the world who could be doing that if they cared as much about the work as, say, Big Al does, you know? You know, they'd be earning and helping out more. Big Al's out in his community now with his megaphone pounding payment, you know? More people can be doing this, you guys. This knowledge, anyone who denies this knowledge, they're simply this, you guys. It's just one word to describe it. They're swine. That's why they say don't cast your pearls before swine. Every day I'm putting out pearls. Nothing but pearls. Swine don't appreciate it. So if you share this with somebody, it doesn't matter if they're your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your person you thought was your best friend. If they reject this knowledge, I'm sorry to tell you, they're in the swine bucket, and most people are. And it's time to just start calling spades spades, because all these swine, family or not, are dragging us to the bottom. You guys want to know something from my family? I've told you about the biggest asshole in my family climbed the highest. He's up at the very top of Washington State, this state's education for the high school level. He's up at the very top. He's up in the big office near Seattle. And, you know, he had to get vaccinated recently. You know what? He was in the hospital today with an emergency heart surgery. He had a little heart attack. Blood clots. Yeah. Guess it's just another big coincidence. My cousin's almost 15 years older than me. I'm 38. He's in his early 50s. I think he's 52 right now. But, yeah, you know, I guess just another coincidence. Of course, they're going to tell him it had nothing to do with the vaccines he just got recently. Nope. Not even, you know, isn't it funny how the medical world is just when this is happening to people, they're saying that it's not because of the vaccine, yet in the mainstream, they've let us know that that's kind of been one of the consequences. Johnson & Johnson even had to stop the vaccine there for a second because of the blood clots. Yeah, that's the latest from my family. So I haven't heard anybody go down from the COVID, but now that just happened to my cousin, and I'm thinking, What's funny is his younger brother, who's a little bit younger than him, he's been posting all over his social media like a little kid about, the vaccines and, how he got his and other people need to get his. I wonder if he's going to change his tune. His brother just had a surprise heart attack. You know what I mean? And a part of me says karma's a bitch, because even though he's my family and cousin, he's the biggest asshole in my family. My mom says when he was 16 years old, I was about 1, and he would pick me up and he would just like throw me on the ground. She said she caught me one time, he picked me up and dropped me right on my head. I mean, who does that to a little kid as a 16-year-old? And this guy grew up to be almost one of the heads of the entire education for the state. So you can think about that too. With regards to that video being August 12th, 12/8, like 128, murdered equals 128. Isn't that interesting? Murder by numbers, right where we began. And with regards to the fiance's house being raided today, the 263rd day of the year, the 56th prime, again, that's the number of the Society of Jesus, and that is clearly who's behind this ritual. Well, I mean, look at this photo they put up here with the window panes, right? I mean, it's clearly representative of the cross, and here we are at a changing of the seasons. The cross to the pagans represents the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, and Wall Street's falling as we close in on we're just hours from fall, right? Again, all the big market collapses in history in the fall. But we got the upside down cross. We got the officer who might very well have 666 tattooed on his arm, And notice, her body was found September 19th. I don't even want to... You remember Tom Brady was the 199th NFL pick? I don't even know if I should get into the stuff they did in the NFL yesterday. The rituals, Patriots and Jets. It's just... Oh my God, it's sick what they're doing, man. Flight 175 on 9/11, Patriot Act Patriots. Yesterday, Bill Belichick became 17-5 against the Jets, picking up his 33rd all-time win against the Jets, but 17-5 in their building. Flight 175 on 9/11, 33 years after 911 made the national emergency dialing code in 68 when World Trade Center construction began. Anyway, Tom Brady beats the Falcons, who go down with 25 points, like his 25-point comeback against them in Super Bowl 51 on 2/5 when Falcons is 25. With regards to 199 and Brady being the 199th pick of the draft, that's the 46th prime, and Tom Brady and Patriots both equal 46. But here's the other thing. She was found in Grand Teton Park. This is a young, attractive woman who, again, anyone who's watched the video can't help but notice that she's nipping pretty hard as she's talking to the officer. And what's the Grand Teton National Park named after? If you don't know this, it's named after big titties. Grand Tetons are named after a woman's big breasts. That's really what that national park's named after. The Big Old Titties National Park. It's a beautiful national park if you haven't been there, and it probably fits in with the whole climate change because they're saying the glacier's gone that it's named after. But, Glacier National Park's right next to Grand Teton. Excuse me. These are both national parks. If you haven't been to this part of the country, this is where Yellowstone is. A lot of the most beautiful, amazing things you can see with your eyes in this country are in the region where supposedly her body was found. Nature, beauty, a young, attractive woman, right? Grand Tetons, big titties. Again, it didn't look like she had the biggest titties, but again, it's not about that. But the point is just the feminine in the ritual and the symbolism. Not to mention we're in the time of Virgo, the Virgin Mary, the Catholic Church, women, feminine, the Society of Jesus. Look at this. Grand Teton and Sacrifice are both 46. She's found on 19/9, like 199, the 46 prime. Catholic and religion are both 46. Israel, Jerusalem, it's totally controlled by the Catholic Church and the Jesuits. Temple Mount, the religiously contested site. Temple Mount, the way they named it's 46. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. The Jews think they have the right to it, right? The Jesuits are Catholic and Jewish, like the 95 Theses led by Martin Luther of Germany was against the Catholics and the Jews. That's why Adolf Hitler was a modern Jesuit joke, to stir up the world a little bit more for the ongoing New World Order, Jesuit World Order agenda. Keep in mind 46 and 19 are numbers of chaos. Ordo Ab Chao, the Jesuit and Masonic motto. Again, the Jesuits and Masons, large and in charge in this nation's federal city, Washington, D.C. The Scottish Rite, the Jesuits created in Paris, France. Scottish Rite came to power in Paris, France. The founders studied in Paris, France. 56 signers on the Declaration of Independence. Huge number with the Jesuits. Again, today, the day of the raids, 26/3, like 263, the 56 prime. But chaos. Again, this is just another story of death and murder and disappearance. It's like emotional chaos, right? And they know that they hook people in. You know, a society of people that love we're a society of people that are hooked on stories like this. Murder mysteries, murder investigations. There's full-time cable channels you can subscribe to. All-day murder mysteries. You know, but before long, the Gabby Petito Investigation Discovery Week will be up. You know what I mean? This is the society we live in. Bunch of people that know a lot about Gabby Petito and absolutely nil about Event 201. You know what I mean? Know absolutely nil about Building 7 on 9/11. Absolutely nil about the work I teach about every day, because their minds are always being occupied by something, if not their own work and school life, some news story that seems like it has to command their attention, like Gabby Petito. And, you know, she was 22. Murder has the Gematria 79 if you run it the other way, the 22nd prime, but her birthday, March 19th, 99. From her birthday, March 19th, to the disappearance, September 11th, that was 177 days. Big number with the Jesuits. The Jesuit order, 177. And the day her body was found was a date with 69 numerology, the Jesuit order 69. With regards to it clearly being the Catholic Church and the Jesuits, Petito has Gematria of 85 and 77. Like Christ and like September 11th when you write it out. And remember, September 11th, after that day, we invaded Afghanistan on the day leaving 85 days left in the year. The word Templar is 85. The Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 85. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. They're the current military order of the Catholic Church. The Templars are the old military order. But disappeared on September 11th at Petito. These numbers were used the day of 9/11 in a big way. Again, Flight 77 supposedly hit the 77-foot-tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian, 77 minutes after taking off. And Pentagon construction began in history on September 11th, right before Pearl Harbor. They called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. And with regards to the fiance's surname and the body being found on Sunday, again, his surname Laundrie, which is a French word. That's where it comes from originally. And that's not, I know that's not the normal spelling we use, but that's how he pronounces his name right in the video. The officer asked, Laundrie? He goes, yep. Laundrie comes from France, like the Jesuits, but Laundrie, 84, Jesuit, 84, Sunday, 84. We like Lamar Jackson yesterday. He got to 8-4 on primetime, did he, yesterday? That's what he did. He dropped Patrick Mahomes to 10-6 on primetime in an NFL week that began on the day, leaving 106 days left in the year. Two black quarterbacks going at it. Black 106, Black Lives Matter 106. And there was a lot of 106 stuff this weekend. It all came through, man. You have no idea how scripted all this shit is. But we do. Been documented for 8 years straight. And from the very beginning, Jesuits and the Catholic Church have been prime suspects, and for rightful reasons, because it is them. So, and again, it took me several years to come to the conclusion that it was definitely the Catholic Church and Jesuits, and it's just, the evidence is just compiled and built, and it's so obvious, you know? It's so obvious. They find her body on a Sunday, the big Jesuit day, the big Catholic Church day. And with regards to the police and who controls the police, which is the Jesuits created modern Freemasonry. Police are very Masonic, Freemasonry, but understand who's over that. The Jesuits are responsible for that. Here's a story of a Sandy Hook first responder who died from COVID-19. You see how they got him posed next to the license plate and they make sure all you can see is the 56 part? Again, big number with the Jesuits. Patrick Dragon, Society of Jesus, 5679. He was a Sandy Hook responder. Sandy Hook was established in 56. The shooting was in 2012, 56 years after the school was established. And then they said the guy died from complications due to coronavirus. And again, coronavirus 56, like COVID vaccine. That's why today is phase 3 of the COVID booster. When you write out 3 as a word, it's 56. And just like in Genesis 1:3, God makes light, and light is 56. And the Jesuits created the Illuminati, which means in the light, and that's who these people are. That's why they worship on Sunday, the source of light in this world, the sun. It's all so clear when you just learn this little simple code. And the other thing I want to point out is the house that they keep showing. If you pay attention, you'll see that the address is 4343, right? And the fiance's house is in Florida. And how many times have I taught about Florida and 43 between all the times I've talked about the riddle with Jeb Bush, the 43rd governor of Florida, and that being the state that was responsible for the election of his brother, who became the 43rd president, who was the first Republican president since his father, who was also the 43rd vice president to Reagan, and both of them went to Yale and were members of Skull and Bones. And again, check this out. This is why you gotta know the base ciphers. Yale in the most simple cipher is 43, right? People are less... That's the cipher that's easiest to teach to somebody who knows nothing about this. Just the alphabetic order, that's so intuitive. Numerology people can get. When you run it in reverse, it seems like people start to be like, I don't know. But it's so obvious. Again, Tom Brady just went down to Florida at age 43. And Florida also equals 43 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. And remember, football is 43. And again, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl at age 43 after going down to Florida. American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was likely a member of Skull and Bones, the very powerful secret society there. And again, now we have a murder story in Florida where the suspect lives at house 4343. I mean, come on. Not to mention killing is 43. Masonic is also 43. I'm forgetting another part of that list. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, I mean, I've taught about these things so many times, and like, they're examples that should snap everybody out of the coma. Come on. Even without the Gematria, it's like, yeah, that is a lot of 43 in Florida for a suspect election of George W. Bush, who was like a functioning idiot. You know, you could tell, probably snorted a few too many lines in his time being a little spoiled brat, born into the King George dynasty. Don't forget his grandfather, Prescott Bush, who was a senator. Also in Skull and Bones. If you missed my work on the death of Prescott and his George H.W., you should definitely check that out. I mean, undeniable rituals. Undeniable. Not to mention, I predicted that George H.W. Bush would not make it past November and would not make it past age 94. And then he died on November 30th. Again, 11 plus 30, 40, 41. He was number 41. And Skull and Bones is 41, right? See how Skull and Bones is 76? That's George W. Bush's birthday, July 6th. Just like Daniel Coit Gilman, who went to Skull and Bones, who established the Johns Hopkins University, how they refer to it with the in front of it. The Johns Hopkins University has the 322 in it. One of the main sponsors of the Event 201 coronavirus pandemic simulation right before it happened. Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar cross is in the Jesuit logo. Again, how all this comes together. But if I read out Skull and Bones again, you see how one of them is 202? The 202nd minute of the day is 3:22 in the morning, and that's the number Skull and Bones puts publicly on their fraternity, 322. And remember, this year on March 22nd, 322, you had the King Supers staged shooting hoax. And I hate that I've already had a bunch of video. I had a whole channel torn down over exposing what a hoax that was. It was 1,000,000,000% hoax. You couldn't find a slight iota of a chance it was anything but a hoax, but it was in the King Supers, which equals 149, like Skull and Bones on 322. Again, that's the 35th prime, and Catholics 35. It all goes back to the church. And don't forget, Tom Brady finished his season playing down there in Florida with the skull and cross swords, kind of like the crossbones on his helmet, by being the first quarterback to ever win a home game in the Super Bowl, and that was his 149th career win with the ref, who that ref's first ever NFL game was officiating Tom Brady beating the Chiefs exactly 149 months earlier to the day. Not to mention, for years I've been talking about Tom Brady 149-35. Yeah, you guys, I mean, for people who are new here and you're just taking this in, for me, it's just like, God, how many times I got to just show the same shit, man? I mean, 8 years of just, it's like literally shoveling the same shit every day, but you shovel it in hopes that it's going to wake up the people so you don't have to shovel shit anymore the next day. So, and then again, yeah, just always watch out for the market when the fall comes around. You know, the market falls in the fall. All the big collapses in history in the fall by the numbers. Things we all covered over the years. But the Dow took a tumble today. And there was supposedly a school shooting in a very weird town in Virginia, not far from the Jesuit-controlled capital, called Newport News. I was like, wow, that's the name of a place? Newport News? Wow. What a name. But notice that Newport News is 172, like the Jesuit motto Ad Merum Dei Gloriam 172. And it happened at Heritage High School, which equals 177 and 84, like the Jesuit order, right? And we were just talking about how Gabby, from her birthday to her disappearance was her 177th day of her age. You know, if you followed me on Thursday Night Football, you had the Redskins to pick up their 69th win in the 177th regular season meeting with the Giants, which they did. Got their 40th home win in that series on TNF 40. You know. So, these numbers, I'm telling you, they use them all across the board. This shooting wasn't too far from the game on Thursday night. And look at this, you guys. The Supreme Court today, they're going to hear a case on December 1st, 121, from Mississippi. Revisit this case that has to do with abortion, and it could be a step in overturning Roe v. Wade. But December 1st, right, 121, we just had Texas with the 666 new laws, and the one that got all the attention was the new abortion policy. That was the day leaving 121 days left in the year. Now on 121, December 1st, another big abortion story. And remember, the Supreme Court was connected to the Texas one. Watch what happens December 2nd, the day after this, because abortion equals 122, like Roe v. Wade was on January 22nd, another 122 date. But here's the other thing. They're announcing this today, September 20th, that they're going to do this December 1st. That's in 72 days, and we know that the Supreme Court's completely Jesuit. I mean, how many more Jesuit rituals do we need to see? From Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death to Brett Kavanaugh on the day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome to everything else they do with that Catholic Jewish court. Again, Martin Luther rolling over in his grave. But the other thing about 72, besides just the Jesuit order, 72 is a huge number with the Jesuit order if you're new here. They were created on a 72-date numerology. They are reinstated by the Pope on the 359th day of his age, the 72nd prime. Every year we celebrate the Jesuit holiday known as Christmas on the 359th day of the Gregorian calendar year, named after the Catholic Pope, who the Jesuits serve. 359, the 72nd prime. That's why Christmas is celebrated at the awkward time it is. Mithra's old birthday, the old god of Rome, the birth of the sun. Funny how sun, in the English language, which comes from the Catholic Church, can mean the bright thing in the sky or a male offspring. But 1972, that was the big Roe v. Wade year. And then the decision was made at the very beginning of 73, January 22nd, 73, but the year of the argument and the debate was 72, right? 72. The Jesuits, the divide and conquer gang, the order out of chaos gang. You know, the sick, demented gang. I mean, and just think about it, having a nation divided over the policy of should it be illegal to, a mother to terminate the child inside of her. And again, why are women making these? Why does any woman have to make a decision like that? You know, that there's a variety of reasons. One can be from being raped. And again, real story. I met a young woman. She was 14 years old. She'd been raped by an older man. She was living at our teen homeless shelter. She was about 5 months pregnant, and she was talking about how this isn't what she chose, but she was going to bring this child into the world because she thought that was God's plan, and she was going to do the best job for that child, and she thought as long as, she did that, things would work out for her. And that was a 14-year-old girl, well pregnant, who'd been raped. I forget how old the guy was that raped her. A lot older, like twice her age. And, but yeah, I mean, there's people like that in the world. And I mean, she wasn't in a good situation. She was living in a teen homeless shelter, but she had this determination that she was going to make it happen. And I don't know what happened to her story after that. I don't know what happened after she left there, but that's a long time ago. That was like mid 2000s, so I mean, it's over 15 years ago now. That child's a young teenager, and it's sad he's grown up in a world like this. But the point is, I'm just saying, not everybody's like that, though. Not everybody's like that. And for all the people who say, well, just put your child up for adoption, I mean. Are you sure that that's the right thing to do? There's a lot of children in the system, and I'm not sure that they'd even... I don't know if they could choose if they'd rather be here, because they're living very, lives that most people can't even imagine, man. It's not fun to be a group home baby. Be medicated by the system, be on very strict guidelines, mostly kept in a room, angry, hostile people around you. I mean, a lot of children unwanted in the system, can't find anyone to adopt them. And the reason they're in these group homes is because, they got behavioral problems too. I mean, that's another part of it. But again, there's a lot of people there's a lot of children in the U.S. system that are unwanted and living a very, very, I can't find the right word for it. Terrible, very, very terrible life. I got to be honest, I'm not going to throw out names because it's illegal, but I recently got on the web and started searching for some of the children whose names I fully remember from the group home. What's weird is I couldn't find a single one of them. And I was thinking, what in the world? Because they'd all be like in their 20s right now, and I just wanted to see like if I could gleam in and see how any of them turned out. I was like, how come I can't find a single trace of any of these children? It just makes me wonder what might have happened between now and then, these system babies. But, yeah, again, what it says in the Bible is you're not to judge. And again, freedom's the ultimate thing. If a mother wants to terminate their child, I mean, that's a sad decision. And I don't think any mother, that's something they want to do, but they do it for a reason based on their own life circumstance. And these aren't things to be divided over and debated amongst governments. The thing to do as a human being, if you don't like it, is to reach out to that person and say, well, here's how I'm going to help your life so you don't have to do that. Here's how I'm going to provide for you, so that you can provide for that child and you don't have to make this decision. I think that's the only type of intervention there should be. If people want to hang outside abortion clinics, they shouldn't be there demonizing. They should be there offering a way to help out these people and say, listen, what if I can provide this for you? Then you don't need to make that decision, But that's not the way the government wants it. The government wants to, use it as a weapon and keep people invested in their system and taunt them with it and mock them with it and do rituals like this. Remember, 72 demons in the Goetia, too. That's who these Jesuits are. But, yeah, it's just so obvious. The 121 thing comes from Revelation. And that's why they're doing all the 666 stuff right now at the time of the pandemic. But they're really holding the Roe vs. Wade thing right now. And, you got the pandemic. And again, it's just got biblical encoding over all of it. Also, by the way, they're saying there's a storm forming that's going to be really bad probably, and that's today, 26/3, like 263, the 56th prime hurricane and natural disaster 56. So, October 1st? October 1st, is that the day? That's the date with 52 numerology. I'll watch out for October 1st. If you guys don't know, hurricane... I know I just said hurricane's 56, but in the most pure cipher, it's 52. And in the most simple cipher, flood's 52, earth is 52, the Babylonian god of floods, Enlil 52, the Bible, the flood. You'd be amazed when you know this knowledge how many hurricanes strike on the 52 date. It's way beyond coincidence, not to mention weather warfare was admitted to in 1952 by the Royal Air Force in the UK, also controlled by the Jesuits like the U.S. military. Let's see, what else is in the news? What else? Oh, Yesterday, yesterday I did such a bad job on my live stream. I just wasn't finishing my thoughts, and I was forgetting to make important points. It was a really bad live stream. Apologies. But in that long, rambling live stream, I did talk about Australia in 102. So look at this news today. We have an Australian Olympic gold medalist, Maddie Wilson. And today the news breaks that she has COVID-19, right? Today is the day, leaving 102 days left in the year. And remember, Australia, 102. Yesterday I was talking about how Australia is being used in some of the worst rituals in the Western world in the time of the pandemic. And remember, this is the first pandemic really worldwide like this since 1918 with the Spanish flu, which came out of World War I. And I was talking about how the first celebrity who had the pandemic was Elvis, filming a movie down in Australia about the vaccine. Well, he was filming a movie about Elvis, and again, Elvis got the polio vaccine on live TV on Bill Gates' first birthday and Jonas Salk's 42nd. But Australia, 102. So we have an Australian gold medalist coming down with COVID now on the day, leaving 102 days left in the year. And remember all the stuff they did with New Zealand as well, right next door to Australia in 102 with Jacinda Ardern and their lockdowns. So the 102 thing, they've been doing rituals with it worldwide, even in this nation as well. Remember, Spanish flu supposedly started on a U.S. military base after World War I in 1918, 102 years before 2020. And remember, World War's got the 102. Remember, Art of War, the text translated by the Jesuits, is 102. The 9/11 attack lasted 102 minutes. It was simulated June 1st, 2001, 102 days before the attack. Now we got the war on germs connected to 9/11. Again, that's what my book's about, number games, 9/11 to coronavirus. But, what do you know? I mean, I talked about it yesterday. And now today, I get a story like this. I mean, you guys just think this is a coincidence? Was it a gold medalist from any other country? I mean, there's a lot of countries in the world. But and this is nothing new. I mean, this is what I've been doing for 8 years, talking about something, and then the next day somebody's like, "Wow, exactly what you're talking about is exactly what showed up in the news." I mean, that's been going on for 8 years straight. And keep in mind, today's also the 263rd day of the year, the 56th prime, like coronavirus and COVID vaccine. And then adding insult to injury, May 31st. You know what? Look at this, man. So yesterday I made the point about this. You got to know your ciphers both forwards and backwards. Coronavirus pandemic is 94 and 113, right? The pandemic was declared on March 11th, 11/3 like 113. And again, 94, such a huge number with the pandemic. The first case in the world confirmed outside of mainland China was in Seattle, Washington, 94, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is. And it came exactly 10 years after Bill Gates declared a decade of vaccines in Davos, Switzerland on his 94th day of his age. And Davos, Switzerland is 94. And then his mom died in 94, and him and Melinda were married on the first day of 94, and then his dad just died at age 94. And again, just so on and so forth. But now, I mean, that right there for any skeptic, like anyone who's like on the fence, they were new here and they were a skeptic yesterday. I mean, seriously, like what are the odds of this? What are the odds of everything based on what I talked about yesterday with Australia and 102 and the significance of the number, that on the day leaving 102 days left in the year, you get this story, and you don't only get that, you get it that she was born in 94 and the news comes on her 113th day of her age. I mean, come on, man. You got to be some kind of dummy to deny this stuff. And just one more time, today the booster shots go live. The FDA, the very uncredible FDA, the corporately controlled, totally bought and paid for FDA is approving the boosters for people 65 and over. And again, you got to know all the rituals of 65. I go hard in my book, which came out over a year ago now, on 65 and this pandemic and all the rituals going on with it. And Bill Gates' decade of vaccines. But remember, Bill Gates declared a decade of vaccines on his 94th day of his age. And he did it in Switzerland. And notice in our ciphers, pandemic 65, decade of vaccines 65, Switzerland 65, Knights Templar 65. But then the year he turned 65 is 2020, 10 years later, the year of the pandemic, and the vaccine goes live on his 42nd day of being 65 years old when vaccine's 42. And again, he was born on Jonas Salk's birthday. He turned 1 the day Jonas Salk turned 42, which was the day Elvis got the vaccine on live TV, exactly 42 weeks after his own birthday, years before he died at age 42. And with regards to 65 and over for the vaccine, again, this is coming at the 18-month mark of the pandemic. The Event 201 simulation done by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, in that simulation on October 18th, 2019, 1 month before the outbreak, it was done on Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age. Her birthday is August 15th, the same day the Jesuits were born. It was done on her 65th day of her age, and in the simulation, 65 million die. And again, her and Bill were married 65 days after his 38th birthday. And look at, in our two most classic ciphers, Pandemic is 65 and 38. And then they just went through their whole divorce ritual by the pandemic numbers. And you see how Pandemic's 151 when you run it in reverse? They say the first case of coronavirus showed up in the U.S. on the 15th day of January, the 15th day of the first month, 15-1, 151. So, again, in the 18-month mark of the Event 201 simulation, that's when the virus or the people start to die a lot more from the pandemic. So I find it curious that 65 million is the mark through the first 18 months, and now about 18 months into our pandemic, they're going for phase 3 of the vaccine by the numbers and starting with 65-year-olds, baby boomers, which if you are a government and you have to kill off some of your population, that's exactly the ones you want to get rid of if you got a financial problem, because your Ponzi scheme Social Security system, you know, it's not going to work with how many you have to pay thanks to the baby boomer generation where, you know, people came back and procreated in big ways. Like my mom's family. They had 9 children. My mom's one of 9 children. And there's a lot of families like that from that generation, and there's a lot of people around her age. You know, my mom just turned 69, but again, and the generations behind them that are paying taxes right now, there's just not as many children, so they got to switch up the equation. They can't be having people like my mom's age lived into their 80s getting all these Social Security payments for decades. That's just going to collapse the whole Ponzi scheme. No matter how much fraud they've been able to do up to this point, they're not going to be able to keep up, you know? The magic trick will be over. So, again, just understand, all of this is perfect ritual. And with regards to Switzerland, they say that's where the Knights Templar ran off to. And again, the Jesuits, Templar cross in the logo, it's all a little bit too obvious. Remember, Society of Jesus and Knights Templar both got the 79. And we just got this nice story about Boris Johnson. Remember Boris Johnson, the Jesuit palm we've been talking about all years by the numbers? His mother just died at 79. Her name's Charlotte Wall. Her maiden name, 56, like Society of Jesus. Boris Johnson had a big year, the year of the pandemic, while he was 56. Remember, started off with a ICU scare by the numbers. But they even had to mention how his mom, you know, died, was divorced in 79 in the article where they're telling you she died at 79. And don't forget, the Jesuits, 10 Downing Street, their logo is right above 10 Downing Street. I mean, it's no secret who runs 10 Downing Street. The Society of Jesus has their logo right above the door. You know, and don't forget that building's been there since 144 years after Rome recognized the Jesuits. 1540, the Jesuits begin serving the Catholic Church. 1684, 10 Downing Street's established 144 years later. And not to mention it was at 84 years, 1684. The Jesuit Order, 84. But yeah, that's the Jesuit logo if you're not familiar. IHS, Templar Cross, Isus Hominum Salvator. Remember we were talking about in the beginning the 85. Templar 85, Isus Hominum Salvator 85, Petito 85, disappeared on September 11th, 85. We invaded Afghanistan after 9/11 on the day leaving 85 days left in the year. A new Crusades, a new Templar ritual, a tribute to history. And then again, Chris Rock, age 56, says he has COVID on September 19th, 142 days from his upcoming birthday. Coronavirus 56, 142. Bad jokes, repetitive jokes, same numbers, same rituals, celebrity virus. Sarah Jessica Parker just lost one of her friends from show business. She's 56 right now. He died September 16th, 191 days from her birthday on the 84th day of the year. 56, 191, where have I seen those numbers before? Oh yeah, Society of Jesus, 191, 56. Again, that's why you got to know the ciphers, forwards and backwards. Last year, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dead in Jesuit Town, Washington, D.C., which equals 56 in the same cipher, and 187, 187 days after her birthday. Dead on Rosh Hashanah, then replaced by the Catholic. From Notre Dame, and boy, has Notre Dame been good for us this season. Started out on Sunday, September 5th, 9-5. They win with 41 points. Start the game with a 41-yard touchdown to the tight end, number 87. Tight end 87, the Catholic Church 87. If you missed the NFL the other year, Jake Budd of Michigan equals Catholic, he fell to the 145th pick of the draft. Right after his coach Harbaugh shook hands with the Pope. He was supposed to go in the first round, but he had to fall to 145, like 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than the Protestant. And again, Catholic Jewish. Old Testament's Jewish. That's who the Jesuits are. They're paying tribute everywhere. That's why Israel was established on 14/5. That's why JFK was number 35. Catholic 35 got his head blown off at 46. At least according to the Jesuit-created Zapruder film, which wasn't clear until the 90s. 30 years to manipulate with the technology. And then, of course, Joe Biden, number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, told you a year in advance. Inauguration day on his 35th day of his age, the Pope's. They got quite the ritual going with the Pope and Monday Night Football tonight, I'll tell you that much. Packers, Lombardi, died right one day before the season was supposed to begin, died at Jesuit Georgetown by the numbers. You know what I mean? In a Jesuit history, the founder Ignatius of Loyola died in the year 1556. He was replaced as superior general by Diego Lainez on January 19th. 19/1, like 191/56. Same type of thing goes on with Sarah Jessica Parker. Sex in the City, New York, Fordham University. Home of a lot of Jesuit scum from Donald Trump to Cuomo. Cuomo, the 56th governor. The pandemic, 56 years after the Trump's Jesuit education began in 64. Again, from Biden to Trump, the one thing they have in common, Jesuit scumbags. And, how about the black shaming today with R. Kelly? R. Kelly got the 79. He got all sorts of things in his name, actually. 29 and 34 like black. Black QBs last week dominated white QBs. This week, black QBs went 3-4 versus white QBs. Last year, Texas put up the statue of Julius Whittier, the black Heisman winner, on the day, leaving 34 days left in the year. And one of the big white QB comeback stories yesterday on the back of King Henry was Tennessee over Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson picked up his 20th career home loss over the Titans. And Seattle fell to 10-7 versus the Titans in the regular season. See how they do this stuff? You see how they do it week after week? Tennessee came in 10-6. I'm missing a letter. Tennessee came in 10-6, like 106 against the Seahawks. Exited 10-7. You see what they did? And the NFL week began on the day, leaving 106 days left in the year. Sam Darnold down in Charlotte, North Carolina, happened to be playing exactly 106 days after his birthday. Upset the black quarterback who had a big week last week, but those black quarterbacks, they just seem to forget how to play football when they face the Carolina Black Panthers, whose greatest player of all time is Cam Newton, not to be confused with Huey P. Newton, who died the same year Cam Newton was born, who founded the Black Panther Party in the Bay Area, where Cam Newton got humiliated in the Super Bowl, where the football landed on his feet and he forgot to pick it up. He's like, well, Von Miller's supposed to get the scripted MVP. That's what I was told, so let me just stand here and look stupid. By the way, we called all that shit in October, why it would be Broncos over Panthers, the white Bronco, the black Panther, OJ and the white Bronco, how it all came together. And USA Today had to write an article hating on me the weekend before the Super Bowl for exposing their precious rigged NFL. But yeah, they just did all. And again, Patrick Mahomes fell to 10-6 on primetime. Black 106, Black Lives Matter 106. What was amazing is this NFL week began on the 259th day of the year, the day leaving 106 days left in the year, and just another week full of black rituals. But again, it proves what Black Lives Matter. It definitively proves, if you understand the script, that this Black Lives Matter is not good for black people, because ever since 2 years ago when ESPN declared the NFL now in the era of the black quarterback, something we've been covering for this is now the third NFL season that ESPN's called the era of the black quarterback, and they've been doing all these race rituals by the numbers. It goes to show the week with the Black Lives Matter ritual, this is like one of the only weeks in these past 3 years where black QBs have struggled against white QBs, but they still pay tribute to the numbers, 3 and 4. And again, that's how you can see it's the Jesuits running the whole damn show. You know, what was the first ever March Madness? The Catholic school versus the Jesuit school? And remember what happened to the coach of that team. He just died at age 78 on a Sunday. That was John Thompson, who became the first black coach to win the college basketball tournament with Jesuit Georgetown in 84. He ended up dying at age 78 on a Sunday. Sunday, 84, 78, also 21, just like Jesuit, 84, 21, 78. Yesterday, Lamar Jackson became 8-4 in primetime, and home teams improved to 7-8 for the week to close out the Sunday game. Okay, what else is up here? Yeah, the whole R. Kelly. Oh, the other thing about R. Kelly is, today leaves 102 days left in the year. Remember, slavery's got the 102, and the not-so-nice N-word equals 102. We had the Ahmaud Arbery Jesuit killing ritual to start last year, and 102 days after the supposed killing, that was the day the news broke that the video picked up him being called the N-word as he was being killed. It's like, wow, look how they released that 102 days after the supposed killing. And then you had the country star earlier this year in Nashville 102, who lost all of his music deals because he was caught on video saying the N-word. But then some people said, well, is that really fair that happened to him? Because he wasn't being racist, and he wasn't doing the ER ending, actually. He was doing the A ending. He was talking like, you know how people talk. The word that's just so well circulated in hip-hop music. So, anyway, they do rituals with these numbers all the time. I've educated about 1 million times. And, yeah, you know what makes... I don't think the video still exists on YouTube, but years ago I showed about an NBA game where they had all these players come out and star in this big fight. I can't remember how many seconds were on the clock, but there were 102 points up on the board, I believe, by the team in the lead. But again, the footage is mostly a bunch of black guys getting into a fight and shoving and swinging at each other. And I was saying to you guys, I'm telling you, this shit is so scripted. This is the racial programming. Certain people are looking at this going like, what's wrong with these guys? Played millions of dollars to play basketball. And again, and I'm just saying, it's not an accident that they got this big story and there's 102 points up with all the black guys swinging at each other. It's ritual. And again, that's why they pay these guys like actors. They're athletic actors. They care zero about winning the championships. Every NFL player learns to snap the helmet and act like they... script, man. Script. We're watching a bunch of actors in this world, a bunch of frauds, a bunch of productions put on from us every day, from Gabby Petito to your sports game to your nightly news commentator who's trying to get you all emotional. It's like, I thought the news was about presenting information so that the audience can use their own mind. These days, it's more like getting you hooked into a narrative, trying to only make you see things this one way. It's so transparent, man, but people just, I don't know. Some people can't see it. And how about this for a history lesson? Shout out to Richie Rich in the chat. Richie Rich said, Zach, I found a gem. And he did find a gem. This Dutch microbiologist who's credited with virology and, the beginning of the understanding of viruses. So I'm getting like allergies right now. They just pulled all the hops plants down all over the area. So there's like hops pollen everywhere. Get these little allergy spurts, but it's not good to rub your eyes, but I got to. Anyway. This guy, the father of virology, the father of viruses. Would you believe that his name is 201 and 84, like the Jesuit order? Like Event 201, the coronavirus simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China. You know, the big number. If you guys are new here, the Jesuits in 201 just a long, long list. This is their number. They love 81 and 84 and 201. But yeah, the father of virology, 201. And what's wild is if you do his full name in the most pure cipher is 113, like the day the pandemic was declared, March 11th. Go figure. Go figure. He died on March 16th. Interesting. John 3:16, Jesus Christ 3:16 in Hebrew, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. I actually let me pull up his name again and show you some about this college that he went to. I'd take a look at his university because I figured, okay, there must be something with his university. Now tell me something. Okay. You know, it's got the two keys on there. That reminds me of the Vatican flag, the gold and the silver, the sun and the moon, you know. 1575, the year of the establishment, you know, just Catholic Church 75. And just the motto of the school in Latin. You know, it is back then. Latin was a lot more of a language back then, but yeah, I wonder. I wonder who's behind this school. And just don't forget this about school, the word school itself. School. 72, right? Jesuit order, big number with them. 72. The Roe versus Wade ritual today. Roe versus Wade. Debated in 72. Now the big hype for, oh man, this could be the beginning of overturning Roe versus Wade. And 72 days before, they announced that 72 days before it comes up. It's just, what more do you need to see? So, and by the way, if you're new here, before long, you'll start, when you see Jesuit order, all these numbers, you'll know 500 examples for all of these in relation to Jesuit rituals. All these numbers are so important to this gang. But yeah, again, it's murder by numbers. Doesn't mean that she was really murdered, though. But that's still the script. That's still the story. It's murder by numbers. Putting the numbers all in front of your face turns into a murder story. And is it a distraction, or did they really kill this young woman? So. Remember Dick Cheney from Wyoming. Talk about a killer. The 44th state. New Mexico, that's my favorite. New Mexico, the 47th state. The Roswell 47 incident. And they say it was government weather balloons. Probably was. Again, you see how government's got the 47 in it? Also the 133. Remember the big March 13th UFO ritual in Arizona? If you don't know this, the first ever official UFO sighting was at Mount Rainier from Seattle on the 47th parallel in 1947, just right before the Roswell 47 incident. And again, Roswell in Seattle. Seattle's got the Space Needle. Seattle's got Jeff Bezos, who looks like he's from another planet, who started out in New Mexico. It's got Bill Gates, who also is very weird looking, and Bill Gates started out in New Mexico. What are they doing with New Mexico and Seattle and space and technology? You know, this technology does seem out of this world. Seems it's beyond human. Seems to have people super hooked in, but for all the wrong reasons. They're not out looking for the truth. They're out looking for the next entertainment. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And again, congrats to everybody who's building up the bank account off Rig Football. Again, some people in the community say we got to stop doing the sports, but man, we're paying a lot of people's bills. Paying a lot of people's bills. And people who might not, you know, people who might not, here, young Dakota's calling in. But people who might not have a job soon because they got to stop their job because they're going to make them have a vaccine. It's good to have other ways to earn. What's up, young Dakota?
Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, I heard you were talking about me yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that you'd be a good person to collaborate with on looking at some of the science-related numerical things, such as arsenic being the 33rd element on the periodic table.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I have I don't know if you know, but yeah, I have a strike on my channel. They strike me over a QAnon video for cyberbullying and harassment. It was an anti-QAnon video.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. They don't want us attacking their QAnon site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over bullshit, you know.
They got to censor.
They don't go after you.
Right.
Huh?
It's just sad that they have to censor somebody like you who's only 16 years old. It's like, man, a 16-year-old can't even speak up about his future? Come on.
And it's like from a year ago, too, the video.
Don't you hate how they do that? I've had that happen to me so many times. So, yeah.
It's like, and I never guess, like, which one it's going to happen, because it's like, I
can't.
don't know.
You can't. It's like random, and sometimes they'll strike the video, the last one you'd think they'd ever strike. You're like, you got to be kidding me. That video? So... But here's my homework assignment for you.
Hello?
Come up with a presentation on 5 things in the world of science that blow your mind with Gematrian, just that you can have some analysis on, and then I'll do the presentation with you, and I'll chime in whatever observations I make.
Yeah, yeah. Last time that we did it, I mostly said the stuff, but I really like to hear your input. You have a lot of stuff to say, and you know a lot more of the numbers than I do, honestly. Because you've been doing it for 8 years. And that's not where like I totally focus my research on. I focus like on the like the credibility of the stuff that they say and all the BS and whatever.
All right, well, take 5 stories from the world of science then that you want to talk about, and then I'll just chime in with whatever. And then we can do it on my channel since you're suspended.
I'll give you a bonus one right now. In the chat, I had just posted a link. World Economic Forum discusses using sonic mind control on people.
Oh, perfect. I know you'll come up with some good things. It'll be a good presentation. So when you got your 5 topics, we'll do our stream. The stream should be an hour or 2.
I have I already have them. I put it together a while back. So.
Oh, okay.
But if you wanna talk about it like off stream and stuff, and like I can just show you what I'm talking about, and you can see, and then we can do it whenever.
Okay. So, you want to do it this coming weekend then?
Sure. You wanna when you get off the stream, you want me to show you some of the stuff, or you're busy now?
You don't have to show me. We'll just do it live. I'm a first take type of person. I don't. There's not a lot of preparation in my work, but we'll do it this weekend. You just tell me the time, and we'll do the live stream then. I'll trust your judgment.
Okay. Yeah. I saw your video yesterday with Jonathan, the little edit that you had to do. You'll never guess what people have to say about that.
Yeah. Watch out for technology. Be careful of these cameras. They might be recording even when you think it's off. So.
I know. You know what happened to me a couple months ago? This is a pretty funny story that I get to tell. I was watching my like weird chubby girl eating porn videos, and the thing just started streaming me watching that.
Oh no! Watch out, man! Watch out what you're watching. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like I didn't get to come out about it. It just like YouTube just decided to stream it.
Okay. YouTube's watching, man. They're watching that behavior. They see you're a threat. Again, be careful, man. I sometimes I think I should write like a fictional story based on what could be happening in this world. I wouldn't be surprised like if there's guys that sit in rooms that are literally like, there's targeted people in our society, and they have phones and cameras, and the cameras and recording can always be listening and watching. They could be compiling all this evidence and creating the ultimate blackmail film for certain people who are certain threats out there. So people should be very careful.
You know what? You want to know about it? Guess when I got the stream? Guess when I got the strike? I got the strike at 3 a.m, and I got it right as I was going to make a stream.
Yeah.
Right as, because I was talking about with my dad, like, I'm gonna do a stream and whatever. And then I got home and I turned on the computer, and right as I was gonna do it, the thing told me I had a strike.
Yeah. That's happened many times.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like and I don't do a stream every week. It's like I kind of do it. So it's like I really don't think that's a coincidence.
It probably is not. All right, young man. Be careful what you're watching. Let me know when you want to go next weekend. We'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I've been trying to talk to you off stream on the phone. So yeah, whenever you get a chance.
Okay. All right. You take care.
Okay, you too.
Bye. Okay. He's only 16, but he's super smart. I'm pretty sure he's a lot smarter than me. You could almost hear he's like, you're a little bit better than me at Gematria. It's like, dude, I'm definitely better than you at Gematria. You might be smarter than everything else, but come on. Come on, young man. Can't just let these teenagers walk all over you. But anyway, we'll leave it there for right now. I got to do some more research on this guy. The father of virology, huh? I'm telling you, man, you go through the world of science from heliocentrism, another big old 201, 16th century, same time as the calendar, same time as the language. You go through, the same time the language was standardized with the way we speak it now, the way we spell it now. Spelling, spells, words, magic. But yeah. I think that's enough for now. I'm not going to do what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I was like almost done, and then I went on for 50 more minutes. If you got here late, just rewind to the beginning. Starts off with a little police murder by numbers to set the tone. So, again, the police are behind so many of the lies that were presented in the media. And again, it's authority, man. It's being abused by authority. An authority that we allow to rule over us simply because we allow it. We way outnumber them. The day we wanted to overthrow this authority, it could be done. It could be done. There are a lot of us. So, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And until next time.